Hey, what's going on? It's Doug Burr, and it's time for the Monday Morning Minecraft Show. How are ya? For it is Monday, February 29th, 2016, the leap year. Oh boy, isn't that exciting? It's 2:48 p.m. and I did it. I did it finally on Friday. I packed up all my shit and got the fuck out of Dodge. I drove down to New York, Long Island, New York, and I'm living here, being a whatever I am, you know. I thought to myself, oh, I'm gonna be a stand-up comedian. It took me about a day of being here to realize how fucking hard it was gonna be to make that happen. I wish I could say that, it was exactly as hard as I thought it would be. Because I knew it'd be hard going in, right? I knew it was going to be at least a 10-year haul. But I didn't realize the actual difficulty of that 10-year haul. You understand me? Like, it's just going to be, it's going to be awful. I'm going to be a loser for a real long time. Oh, yeah. That's, good stuff. Good stuff. I'm just, sitting here drinking my coffee, existing. I started off life like everybody else, coming out of my mom. My mom had a C-section with me. It's true, she was sliced open like a fish, or like a woman being sliced open to have a baby yanked out of her. And that's what happened, and there I was, lying there on the table with 2 collapsed lungs. I wonder if I was crying. Would it be possible for me to cry if I had 2 collapsed lungs? I know I had 2 collapsed lungs, though. My mom told me that. She was like, you had 2 collapsed lungs when you were born. You were born to die, Doug. You were born to die. But what do you know? Here I am 19 years later, still alive, even though I shouldn't be. What am I contributing to anything? Anyways, I woke up this morning and went on to Facebook, and I saw this video of this autistic kid named Sam on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and it made me really uncomfortable. I can tell you that right now. I was not comforted by this clip from the Ellen DeGeneres show. It was all about this kid with autism who worked at Starbucks as a barista, and he danced around. He was like, he was like dancing around. And Ellen was talking to this autistic child, and she was like, why do you have to have the music to dance around? And he was like, well, it helped me concentrate, or however he sounded. And his manager was there on the show with him, and his manager was sort of like treating him like a dog. And both Ellen and the manager, Chris, that was his name, some stupid fucking black guy wearing a suit and a Starbucks apron. Him and Ellen are talking about Sam like he's not even there. Like he's just invisible. Like he's a science experiment. They were talking about how Sam was unemployable. They're like, that's how they introduced. An autistic child was declared unemployable by doctors, but it was given a job at a Starbucks by his manager, Chris. And they were talking about how he was excelling at this job as a barista. And, I really wasn't that comfortable with it. They were talking about him like he was a science experiment, like I said. And everybody was clapping and standing up and going, whoa! And at the end, Ellen gave him a free trip to Japan, and he cried. But he didn't just cry. Like, there's a special way that people with autism cry. let me get this straight, okay? He had extreme autism, okay? It wasn't just like your regular run-of-the-mill autism. Like, I knew a girl when I was in the 6th grade up through high school who had autism, and she could drive, and she was getting A's and B's in school, and she was a normal child. But Sam is not a normal child, okay? He was declared unemployable. But Chris thought he would make a great addition to the Starbucks barista team, wherever the fuck they live. How do you think the people working at the Starbucks feel about the kid with autism being there, I mean, he's dancing around and he's not really communicating too well. I would be very uncomfortable if I was forced to work there. If I was working there for like 3 years and then all of a sudden there's a new manager named Chris and he's this dumb black guy in a suit and he hires this fucking kid with autism named Sam that dances around, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on here? I gotta talk to corporate about this one. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I think I'm just nervous at this point. I'm nervous to be alive, Listen to that. Listen to the cars rumble by. I live on Long Island, and everything is real close together, real packed in. It's like a city of houses where I live in Hicksville. It's like there's so many houses crammed into one area. I mean, you wouldn't even believe it. Like, I guarantee you that me talking right now, everybody within a 6 to 7 house radius can hear me talking right now. It's very disconcerting, and there's a train track that's like that goes like through my bedroom, basically. And there's trains every like 5 minutes. And there's planes that fly over my house at like 100 feet. I don't know what that was, but I heard about these things that they discovered, gravitational waves. You may have heard of them. Ever heard of them? Apparently science has been using this thing that they haven't proven for hundreds of years. They just accepted it as fact 100 years ago when Einstein was like, yeah, so I think this is how it is, but I also think that that's wrong. And everybody was like, it's probably right, we'll use it. And then they didn't get proof of it until 2016. And they're like, whew, thank God we were right about that. I mean, what? Don't you have to prove something? You can't just use a template. Use something as a template that you don't know is fact. Gravitational waves are the foundation of our understanding of a lot of things, aren't they? So if Einstein was wrong like he thought he was, where would that leave us? Just accepting ignorance? I don't really understand the whole thing. Apparently there's this like space-timey fabric stuff, right? That we don't know what it is, and it makes up 96% of the universe, or 94% or whatever. And 4% or 6% of the universe is matter, something like that. And the other 94% is just this fabric-y stuff. And when shit goes down in the universe, it creates ripples called gravitational waves, like a pebble being dropped in a pond. That's how it's always explained, right? I saw Charlie McDonald's Fun Science video on it. That's the only reason I'm even talking about it. I don't know anything about gravitational waves, man. They're affecting us every day. Apparently the way that they detected these gravitational waves that proved Einstein's theory was like 100 billion years ago. These two massive black holes collided. Might have been at the center of our galaxy, actually, and these two massive black holes combined to make a supermassive black hole, and their combination, them colliding and fucking each other in the ass, created a massive ripple in the fabric of space-time that just hit us today, 100 billion years later. Or not today, but, like a couple weeks ago. And they have these sensors, these two sensor things on the planet that pick up these gravitational waves. They're like seismographs for cosmic activity. And they detected these gravitational waves from the two supermassive black holes, and they were like, whoa, look at that. We found something. And I'm like, I don't really understand the whole thing. It honestly just makes me feel more uneasy about the universe. The fact that there can, because we're in a gravitational, funk right now that's being created by our star. Could you imagine if we used Earth as a spaceship? Like if we somehow got access to the energy that's at the core of our planet, and we built an exhaust pipe straight through the Middle East and just used it as like a rocket to propel us out of our solar system, just blast on through the Kuiper Belt and the Oort cloud into open space, free space. Maybe head on over to Andromeda or Alpha Centauri, make a first pit stop. Get some Alpha Centaurian chicks to suck on our wieners. That's what you need. That's what I need. I think that would be the best thing for the Earth. I mean, it would kill a lot of people, but it'd also be a cool story, And that's really all that matters. It's all that matters to me right now. I want cool things to happen to me so that I have something to talk about when I do this fucking thing. I don't have anything fucking cool to talk about while I'm doing this thing. I mean, there's certain things that I want to talk about that I probably can't talk about on here, so the fact that I'm even bringing them up now just means I have nothing else to talk about. This is what I wrote down. That's one of the topics I could talk about on today's show. This is altered states of reality, the idea of how we perceive life not being the way life actually is. I don't even know what to say about that. It's just such a non-statement. Who fucking cares? But, I don't know. Living life, doing what you do, that's all it is. That's all you can do. I want some shit to happen to me, I wanna end up in the back of an SUV with submachine guns, riding down the streets in New York City, where the girls are pretty. And until that happens, what the fuck am I going to say? I got nothing to say. I need stuff to happen to me in order to gain experience and have stories to tell about my life, to make me interesting. But I'm not interesting right now. I mean, I got nothing. No stories, nothing to say, nothing to contribute. And I'm just mumbling on about it. I mean, nobody gives a fuck about what I have to say about anything. What are you going to do? I got a lack of ambition. And that's all I'm ever going to have, That's the way the society is set up. To give you a lack of ambition. All you want to do is make money, but money doesn't make me ambitious. Money is just fucking money. I want happiness. Happiness is the only motivation we should have. Happiness points. What if you had happiness points? What if that's the way society was run instead of this fucking currency? If happiness was our currency, maybe the world would be a happier place. I don't know. Well, it's at the time. I'm surprised that we're 14 minutes and 18, 19, 20 seconds in. 4:20. This went by fairly fast. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be fun to listen to, but fuck it. I had an obligation to do it, and I did it, and now it's done. And hopefully I'll get better as time goes on, right? I always say the same fucking things all the time. I mean, Jesus Christ, can't you say anything new? Alright, well, I'll see you next time. Hopefully it'll be soon, sometime in March. Peace out.